What's up, everybody? Welcome to the View from Jamestown podcast edition. This is episode 70. This is the April 2022 episode, and we got a full house this morning. We're sitting down today with TCC President Robb Roach, Inside Sales Manager Nicole Greenberg, VP of Sales and Marketing AJ Petrarca, and Latin American Operations Manager Javier Fernandez.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, buddy.
How you guys doing?
Living the dream. Living the dream.
All hopped up on caffeine today.
That's right. That's right. I've been drinking my caffeine. I got 2 cups back, and I'm buzzing right now.
Nothing better. It's the key to a good podcast is a whole lot of caffeine.
That's right.
What's happening? What's going on? I feel like it's been a long time since we've done an episode between AFPM and the coding show. It hasn't really been that long, but it feels like it's been forever.
It's been a whirlwind tour since our last podcast, I'd say. Did New Orleans on a customer outing, then Venice for a fishing trip, then AFPM, then the coding show, which I didn't attend. But
and you snuck in a vacation in there too?
I snuck a vacation in. I was gone from my house for almost 3 weeks, which is nice. But, worn out, man. Yeah, it was
busy couple weeks. Good couple weeks.
Busy month.
A lot of good stuff. Today's April 20th, which is, I believe, Ben Roach's birthday.
My oldest son's birthday, yes.
My mom's birthday.
Yeah, there's a lot of April babies around, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, my mom's the 23rd, so she's right in the mix, yeah.
Is that Taurus? Does that fall into Taurus, the bull action? I know my wife's a bull on May 11th, so I don't know.
I don't know when that changes.
Yeah, it's somewhere in here, but...
Yeah, it is like the 20th to the 18th or whatever, isn't it?
Yeah.
It falls like mid-month.
Somewhere in there. But we got Ben a puppy.
Yes.
Yeah. We got him Raven. Maybe we could put that picture. I'll get a picture for you. We can put it in the next view. And
I like it.
Raven's 3 months old, black lab, beautiful dog.
I think Michaela Turnquist has got a new dog too.
Everyone's got Springer Spaniel.
Puppy fever.
Very cute.
Oh. Yeah. Springer, wow.
Black and white, yeah. Real cute dog. High energy, those Springers.
Huh.
And George Manchester had one. He got one a few months ago. Bay. Call her Bay. B. Okay, so Beatrice and... So, yeah, there's some puppies flying around still. Yeah, post-COVID puppies.
I'm sure Tiff's pushing for a third puppy, right, AJ?
She is pushing for a third miniature dachshund, but I'm pushing back pretty hard. Yeah, two's quite enough at the moment.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've got a good thing going, so.
Yeah, it's okay.
How do you handle yellow spots in your lawn? Like, you're such a lawn maintenance guy. Like, if you get a female puppy, you're going to have a lot of yellow spots.
Yeah, we've only got males right now, and they don't really. I don't know. My lab always made spots, but these little, I think their pee's so much smaller. It's like
it's a scale issue.
Yeah, these dogs are 10 pounds, and my labs are 100 pounds, so it's 10 times the amount of pee. I guess.
Slight difference.
I don't have any spots at the moment.
Yeah,
so
my labs are killing oak trees in my yard. Man. They're just falling over dead.
But as much as we could talk about puppies for quite a while, I guess we should talk chemicals a little bit here. So obviously coming back from the AFPM, the coding show, I think a lot of similar conversations were had. I think a lot of people have a lot of the same questions, concerns, thoughts on what's currently going on, what's to come for the rest of the year. I know one of the big driving forces of that is obviously the continuing situation in Russia and Ukraine with the Russian invasion. Obviously that's been going on, I guess, for a good month or two plus now. So starting to really feel a lot of the effects of that. I know, AJ, you've been following closely a lot of the fertilizer issues. Obviously a significant amount of fertilizer comes out of that region. So that's obviously impacting things like urea demand. I'm sure it's impacting potentially dicey demand. And obviously I think we'll continue to impact downstream things like soybeans and food shortages. But I know there's been a lot of interest on things like urea these days, and the fertilizer market should certainly be interesting for the summertime.
Yeah, urea's been a big topic of conversation all of a sudden. The last, 8 to 10 years that I've managed a product that's been, sort of just flat and not much to talk about. And lately, we're getting a lot of calls for people looking for supply and panicking about their current sources of supply. So it's definitely a big topic of conversation. But even, aside from urea, phosphates are tight, chlorides, a lot of other agro raw materials are in short supply because, Russia's a big player in those. So as sanctions, get enforced and things like that, it's really tightening things up, and we'll see where it goes, but things are at all-time highs for the most part.
Should be an interesting, I know we do that Southwestern Fertilizer Conference, which is still a couple months away, but I'm sure that'll be interesting week and some interesting conversations there.
Yeah, it'll be curious to get feedback from a lot of the big buyers and the big end users to see what their outlooks are. I mean, commodity prices are high as well. So, with expensive commodities, people can afford to pay more for fertilizer. But, there's got to be a cap somewhere, right? Like it's going to be, when urea reaches a certain point, they're going to just stop fertilizing or, rely on rainfall to help the plants grow.
I'm making a call right now. Fuel surcharge is now coming as a DEF surcharge. I bet that's coming down because the cost of uncoated urea is quadrupled in price.
Mention what DEF is, just in case someone
diesel exhaust fluid goes in every truck that delivers everything, no matter where. I mean, even in some of the ports, they have, they won't allow trucks in that don't have NOx abatement, which is nitrogen oxides, which come out of diesel engines. And in order to run diesel engines over the road, most trucks have NOx abatement, which is very small quantity of urea in water. I think it's 12%, something like that. But
it's like 32.
Oh, is it that high? Okay.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's 32% is so it doesn't freeze, so but yeah, I think there's going to be, shortage of DEF, and that's a real critical thing. I mean, we're already critical in transportation, but we talk about fertilization. We're now in May almost. So most of the fertilizers have been, at least blends have been blend. We're lucky we're kind of past that. And then also farmers can depend on rain, use less fertilizer. We've also seen a big, not resurgence, but a big development of indoor farming. So they're taking, outdoor farms and they're covering them and controlling the environment and using only water, not soil. So when rain comes down, it hits, soil and it disperses and you lose quite a bit of it. If you grow hydroponically, you're growing right in water. You can use less nutrients. So, I mean, this is going to continue. It's going to really speed up that. You might want to look on the stock market on people that are doing that sort of thing because it's really going to grow, especially with...
no pun intended.
Yeah.
It's going to grow.
It's going to
grow. And obviously the other big thing we're tracking with the Russia-Ukraine situation is energy pricing has obviously been increasing significantly, and there's certainly a delta between what's going on with European energies as well as what's happening in the U.S. On the U.S. front, crude oil has come down a little bit. I think we're just over $100 a barrel now, which is still up 37% or so year to date. Natural gas has been the big one, really jumped up huge since the last time we did a recording in mid-March. That one's up just about 100% year to date. So some crazy energy numbers, and I know we're getting questions on what we think is going to happen or asking us to pull out our crystal ball and predict the future. Obviously, we can only track what we're seeing, what we're being told these days, and kind of our thoughts on what's going to happen. But that's been a big point of conversation both at the AFPM and the Coding Show, and I think since we're getting a lot of calls asking about that.
Yeah, just I guess you're looking at me, so this is a tough question. Yeah, I mean, Biden tapped into the reserves, one of the biggest outputs of the reserves, I think, in history. Still didn't really cause much of a blip on the cost of WTI crude. We've watched, even since AFPM, even the last few weeks, we've watched, natural gas go from 4 to 7 and change, which is almost doubled in 4 weeks. I'm calling for 12 to 15 by summer. We're exporting a lot to Europe to satisfy demands over there. I've even heard of things as crazy as propylene exports and things like that to Europe. I don't know what's going to happen in Europe with Russian oil supply. I'll just say that if it is cut, it'll be devastating. We don't have the capacities to fill that gap.
Which I think is probably a big reason it hasn't been already, is because they know it's such an important lifeline.
It is, and that's why it hasn't been cut already. But I put out a letter before the AFPM. I don't know if you read it or not, but I just want to reinforce that if we don't fix this war and all wars, nothing else will get fixed. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I really, truly believe that we got a lot of problems in humanity in the world, and none of it will get fixed or even be tackled unless we can fix this war and all war. We need peace on Earth, so and it's a shame what's going on there.
Yeah.
But if Russian oil is not available, 15 to 30% of European consumption is Russian oil. I mean, right now we're okay. That's all I can say. Right now we're okay, but America depends on Europe. Europe depends on America. You got COVID restrictions in China, which is really impacting production over there. This is a boom for non-integrated producers. And what does that mean? Higher prices for the consumer. Again, we're already in inflation. Yep. You got people that are non-integrated. We're buying from all over the world. These people are buying the raw materials for their production on the open market. Prices are going up. It costs higher energy, lower output, lower efficiency, more greenhouse gases. I mean, this is just we need integrated producers. So,
that's a good point. I think a lot of the inflation numbers too are based off of pre-Russian invasion of Ukraine, not even what the impacts of crude and natural gas since that are. So if you think inflation's bad now, I mean, I got to assume it's going nowhere but up, unfortunately.
Yeah, I've always thought it was grossly understated just based on the chemistries that we sell. The raw material building blocks are like, they're talking 8 or 9% inflation still, and like we're selling things at 50 or 60% higher.
Yeah, I was going to say double in some cases. I mean,
so that's I don't know. I think we're just
someone's paying for that.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned diesel exhaust fluid earlier. Like I bought a bottle this week, and they haven't changed the price at the retail level yet. You know what I mean? But urea prices have.
Stocking up on it.
Yeah. There's gonna be a run on diesel exhaust fluid now.
Yeah.
Roach DEF Enterprises.
That's right.
selling out of the garage.
Hey, I just sold
$60 a gallon.
What did I sell? 100 tons last week. So it was another 100 tons. But yeah, I mean, people are actually buying, from oddball. It used to be a big source of that was Russia, or the Black Sea, which is where most fertilization comes from. But I definitely feel like we've got some issues coming up for sure. And the only impact I see, sort of placating that is the increase in interest rates. And they're at 12-year highs now. You're seeing some slowdown on the psychotic behavior of real estate. Although I read an article in the Wall Street Journal just this morning that the U.S. is still the best market in the world for middle-class people to buy homes. So I think there's that room for that inflation and the cost of housing. And you got a lot of millennials, a lot of younger people that want a home. They don't want a condo. They don't want an apartment in the city. They want to live, and have a quality of life. So I think that's going to continue to there's going to continue to be good demand. But I predict that to slow down as the interest rates rise.
Yeah, the real estate thing's interesting too. Like obviously we live in a higher priced region compared to, Oklahoma or some of the middle of the country. But you got to assume a lot of people that are moving out of apartments or city living, millennials that are 5-10 years out of college and want to buy a house, you probably don't want to move to Oklahoma. You're going to move to Rhode Island or inland Mass or New Hampshire and all of New England. You look at what's available for houses in Rhode Island between $400,000 and $600,000. There's like two in or one bed, 700 square foot. It's crazy.
Yeah, people want to live. They don't want to live in Dallas. They want to live in the outskirts of Dallas. Yeah. They want to have a robust school system. They want to have safety. They want to have a lawn that they can, thatch and
dethatch.
They can thatch and mow and kill moles. Is it? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I think that COVID brought some semblance to people that it's not all about the rat race. It's about quality of life.
Yeah. You mentioned that the COVID effects obviously continuing. We've seen big impacts in China still. Obviously, China has a pretty strict zero tolerance policy on COVID. The Port of Shanghai was shut down or is still shut down. I know there's been ongoing kind of fluctuating shutdowns on the ports over in China.
I don't know if it's currently shut down. I know that there's just a big backlog because folks aren't working to full capacity.
Yeah.
The airports are shut down.
The airports are shut down?
The airports, yeah. We have some orders, air freight orders that they can't go.
Yeah. Yeah, so the ports being either shut down or backed up brings up an interesting point. I think somewhere on screen currently should be a map that compares the port of Long Beach as of I think today, right?
Versus that was this morning.
Versus the port of Shanghai. Obviously, as you can see from the graph, it's significantly different traffic in a backup of ships between Shanghai and Long Beach. Obviously, we're talking a lot about issues with U.S. ports, with the Long Beach being backed up or Houston or Savannah being a little slow, but doesn't even come close to the comparison of what we're seeing with the Shanghai ports. We talk about, like we were talking this morning about container shortages and things like that. That's where all the containers are. They're all stuck on a ship there and can't get either in or out to get reloaded.
Yeah, we're having trouble shipping, whether it's exports out of the U.S. or bringing stuff from Latin America, regions where we wouldn't have a problem getting, loading. Now it's, containers just aren't available because they're all in the water and off of Shanghai. It's pretty staggering. And we're complaining about the congestion at Long Beach, where everybody is here in the U.S. and it's not even, as you can see by the pictures, it's not even
a fraction.
Not even a fraction. It's not even close. But I don't know. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I guess it's just based on the zero tolerance policy, either a matter of easing those policies, which doesn't seem likely, or hopefully, COVID cases going down in China. So it'll be interesting to see what that looks like over the next couple months.
You'd think they'd learn from us a little bit, man. When they sent everybody home, everybody was together and they got sick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, you're not picking up, at least in this microcosm of TCC, TLC, our businesses, you're not picking it up here at the office. You're not picking it up at lunch at a restaurant or dinner at a restaurant or even at trade shows. You're picking it up for most of us when the kids brought it home from school. I got sick from it from my kids at home at school. So I don't know. There's been the one thing that comes that we've had with COVID is a very quick learning curve, and we know a lot more about it today than we ever did. Of course, it's still mutating and changing, but that if you have enough airspace and you're not breathing on top of each other and good airflow and whatnot, you're not going to necessarily catch it, So China's zero COVID policy needs some change, I think. And, and now the variants are getting far more transmissible. So zero COVID is impossible, so.
Yeah. AJ mentioned a little bit the Mexico and Latin America trade. I know historically or recently it's been a positive trade route with being able to get relatively short lead times and things like that out of Latin America. But how's that been recently? Has the availability been impacted?
The lead times are short. The transit times, but we cannot get containers. We cannot get routes available. So it has been an issue, as AJ mentioned. You have 10, 7, 11-day transit times, but if you don't get a container, it doesn't matter. We can get sometimes easier and faster from Asia than we can get from Latin America in some products. So we're facing that at the moment.
So even with the short lead times, there's been some cases where it could almost be more effective to order from elsewhere.
Yes, correct. Yeah, and the prices are keep increasing, and it's who pays more.
Right. Based on limited availability.
Yes, supply and demand.
Yeah, the lead time to get a container used to be weeks. Now it's months. We're waiting 2 to 3 months sometimes for loadings when, we kind of out of the blue all of a sudden. We weren't expecting that, but, here we are.
Crazy. On a more positive front, you're going back to Mexico here soon?
Yes, my first business trip.
I know we'll talk about trade shows in a minute, but you're obviously going to walk the UTECH, and
I'll be walking the UTECH show. It's a polyurethane show. It's a big show in Mexico City, the Banamex City Center. It's a good show. I'm going to see my friends in the industry, so I'm looking forward to it.
What's been the overall mood with that? Are people excited for you to be coming down? Are you able to set up a lot of meetings compared to normal? Is it a little bit less?
The people are getting back to the offices. People are back at work. Most of them are hybrid, like 3 days, 3 and 2. Yep. But people are back at work, so people are everyone wants to see each other now.
Yeah, because that's the first real big show that's been in Mexico for a while, right?
Yeah,
at least for our industry.
Yeah, for sure.
But we just had Easter. Don't you guys have 2 months off after Easter?
No, just 1 week.
1 week, okay.
Just 1 week.
Easter week, right? That's,
Easter week, Easter week was dead. I was getting out of offices left and right. I was like, what's the point? I was like...
Yeah, there was a Tuesday, and Javier's like, oh, man, I'm so bored. I'm like, what do you mean you're bored? It's it's not like a holiday week. It's not Christmas. Everyone's
soccer matches on?
There were a couple soccer matches, so I kept myself entertained.
Yeah, he was bored at work. It wasn't. There was plenty of other stuff.
His WhatsApp was so dead that week.
Yeah, a lot of people on vacation. It's a popular vacation week, and some companies take the whole week off. Some companies take 3 days off. Companies that are more strict take 2 days off. So very popular vacation week for sure.
So you want us to adapt the Mexican vacation time policy is what you're saying?
I'm not opposed.
We should like do a hybrid of like the Mexican and European.
There you go.
We'll just never come to work.
Yeah, right.
Between all the holidays and the siestas.
We'll take in the Asian, the tomb sweeping festivals and all those. We'll just
if we could combine all
celebrate
of
them all.
those into
We want to be
American,
diverse. You know, we want diversity.
we'll end up working a week a year.
Precisely 12 work days in a year. Yeah, no, it's exciting. It's exciting getting back to obviously doing the trade shows here and getting back to Mexico. It's nice to see.
Yeah. I'm really excited to go to step on a plane again.
Yeah.
You know,
It's always fun in Mexico City. It's a great city.
it's a great city. A lot of stuff going on. The traffic, it just very similar to home. You know, I'm from Peru, so it's very similar to home. So it feel like home. You know.
It's gotta be hot. It's gotta be hot, right, down there?
Yeah.
So you have to take an Uber, but the nice part is you hop in an Uber to go 2 miles. You know, immediately you know it's $9.33, but it takes 2.5 hours. You know?
Crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Crazy. I know we talked about it a little bit, but price updates and trends coming into, I guess, May now. We're obviously more than halfway done through April, so we're starting to get a feel for what's going to happen come early May. Obviously, a big jump in natural gas, so things that are natural gas derived are, I think, certainly expected to increase. Crude has been relatively flat since where we were in March, so it may not be as big of an impact for May, but obviously supply and demand comes into play there, so I think it'd be interesting to see what we're seeing for May. I think we're starting to hear some hints of some things maybe moving up, but should be interesting as how things shake out in the next couple of weeks.
You talking on raw material or on chemical side?
All the above. All the above.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly impacts, logistics, raw materials, base costs, oil, gas. We've been kind of shocked, that we haven't seen more activity based on this. And I think a lot of people are theorizing that the chemical industry has really done a good job of eliminating their talent pool. And some of the folks that have history and knowledge are gone. They retired them. They made too much money. They retired them young, or they're retired because they're too old or whatever. A lot of the big companies are just simply out of touch with what's going on because being a small enough company, we see it immediately. 50-70% fuel surcharges immediately impact our bottom line. People aren't recognizing this. I'm talking, Fortune 500 companies that we compete against. But you call for customer service, it's not there. Sales isn't there. The talent isn't there. So there was a lot of discussion about that at AFPM about what's going on, And, I don't want to pat ourselves on the back, but we do hire a lot of these talented folks that are sub-retirees or whatever, and we try and educate ourselves based on history and the knowledge that they have because they're very important to tap into because the chemical industry is really not doing well without them. So I think, we could have a whole podcast based on
I was going to say, I think everyone at this table has benefited from some of the folks that we have on our team that have been in the industry a long time. I mean, yourself included. I know we had a lot of older guys that started as you came up with TCC. So
I think I'm considered an old guy now.
No,
come on.
I mean, do you want to be an old guy?
No, I don't. But I've been doing this now for 26 years, so it's like, I'm not there yet because I know there's people out there in podcast land going, 50 years I've been doing, 60 years I've been doing that. And I'll get there someday, but
you're like a fourth year NFL quarterback, like right in the middle of your prime.
I love that. I love that.
You're not a rookie, you're not old.
Appreciate it. You get a raise.
Yeah, I think based on both supply issues, freight issues, not going to be surprised to see some increases coming down the line for May.
I mean, I've seen some of our friends and competitors in the distribution business do everything from 2 cents increase to a $50 surcharge to adding a surcharge. Our experience is that if you add a line item on an invoice, it simply doesn't get paid. Yeah. So I think the people that are saying, okay, across the board, 2 cents a pound for LTL or full truckload or whatever might be a more prudent way to do that. Yeah. But, it's difficult to figure out how to tackle that, So we're taking it on a case-by-case basis. We're seeing some destruction in cost of a line haul, but the increase in the fuel surcharge means we're still plus from where we were, especially for those long haul, over 600 miles. So yeah, I mean, it's certainly impact. I mean, every penny you're paying more for freight is off your bottom line if you don't adjust based on that. So, and they can do it overnight. They increase their fuel surcharges are done overnight. So that's why I say there's a lot of people that are out of touch with this. They're not seeing it. It will impact Q2 profits. That's for sure.
Yep. We talked a little bit earlier about obviously how tight urea is these days. Historically, something that's been relatively flat in pricing, no drastic changes throughout the year. Obviously, I think would you consider this like the peak kind of urea demand season? People are really starting to talk about it.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably starting to tail off a little bit. The spring planting season buys are pretty much done. I mean, there'll be another upsurge in summer for the fall planting, but that's not as big as the spring, obviously. So
and that pricing's remained high, and forecasting things to potentially keep going that way.
Yeah, there was a big increase for April. I don't know what May is going to hold, but I wouldn't be surprised at another increase from an already all-time high level. So we'll see.
Yeah, interesting times for sure.
For sure.
Good transition, I think, into featured products and things that we're bringing in. I know we've talked about it a little bit, but Javier went on a shopping spree here recently, and those products are getting ready to hit the port. So I think we're excited to start making a big push on some of those products.
Yeah, about 2 months ago, they're about to arrive, so I'm excited about them.
Got to start selling now.
Yeah, I want to start. Now the fun begins.
What are those? You want to remind our audience?
Glycerin in totes, malic acid, fumaric acid, DIDP drums, DINA totes, to name a few.
Some of it's sold already.
So we're replenishing. So it's going well, I think.
It definitely is. It's a very fluent movement, for sure.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier about the high demand season starting for our polymer additive products as well. I know obviously packaged plasticizers between our standard products as well as things that we're looking to supplement with new sources. But across our polymer additives business, it's really getting
we're not just esters and plasticizers. We've got a whole basket of polymer additives. This is the season as we ramp up and coming into the summer season and high demand season for different polymers, and also competing polymers are unavailable or super high priced. We're hearing things like polyethylene and whatnot, different grades are being absolutely unavailable. So especially with gas prices, I mean, we've always, as America's always been priding ourselves since fracking of our low cost for natural gas, and that certainly goes into polymers. And now you're seeing massive increases to where I predicted 12 to 15 per MMBTU by summer. So I mean that means other polymers are becoming more interesting, and those are probably the markets that we serve more. Yeah.
Trade shows, events, conferences.
So
Nicole's favorite topic.
It sure has become that.
We got a full slate coming up. I think before we get into that, I know we talked a little bit about the AFPM and the coating show being a good success. Obviously, you got thrown right into the fire with your first actual, real, true AFPM as well as the coating show back to back. So you
what a party at the AFPM that was.
We sure did have a fantastic turnout. I think everyone enjoyed really getting to mingle again and see everyone in the same place, especially as opposed to back in October. It was a more mellow crowd, so it was nice to see almost back up to 100% for sure. So, yeah.
I think not to pat ourselves in the back, but we had a lot of good feedback on a lot of people that preferred autos.
Feisty crowd, too.
But it was good to see. Like you said, it was great to have everyone back kind of in the same venue and see a lot of people you haven't seen in a long time. So I think it was good.
Definitely.
You get a positive, outlook on these shows now. I know it was fun trying to plan these stuff without actually having gone to them in the past, but
exactly. Well, and that's
you're a pro now.
Exactly. Learn by doing, and the experience is some of the best part of it. Getting to actually see everything in action when you put so much into the planning, and then just seeing how all the meetings come together and everything pans out, and how those relationships come together and build. It's really awesome.
Yeah.
I would say the AFPM March compared to October was at least double.
Yeah. Definitely.
And then we saw nobody from Europe in October. We saw nobody from Asia in October, and we saw limited, maybe U.S. Participation. This year, definitely Latin America was strong at AFPM.
Very much so.
North America was strong at AFPM. Europe was there, not maybe 100%, maybe 25 to 50%. No Asia. So that was probably where AFPM. And then Coating Show, we're here, from you guys that were there. I mean, it was a little slow. I mean, I think probably back to back with AFPM a little too much, or,
I have nothing to compare it to. It was the first Coating Show that I, attended. But from, what everyone said, I mean, it sure could be,
Yeah, and I don't know what the official numbers were. Like, I mean, maybe it was on par with prior years. Maybe it was actually a little bit less. I wonder if they must publish that info on like what it was year over year.
Yeah, I'm sure you can find it somewhere. I just haven't seen them yet. But it did feel a little slower. But there are a lot of different folks that go to the Coating Show, like more end users than at AFPM. But it's probably a similar thing, like, very few people from Asia and limited European attendance. But it was still a good show. Like, we still had a lot of good conversations, and it's definitely a good show.
Yeah, I think for not really knowing what to expect for the first full kind of large scale trade show post COVID, I think it was good.
Yeah, we'll definitely be back in 2 years.
Yep.
Definitely.
Already starting to make plans.
Yep.
But we had a bunch of good shows and events coming up over the next couple of months. You want to run through some of these?
Yeah, so we have our very own Ben Sawicki, who will be at the World Adhesives and Sealants Conference in Chicago next week, actually. So look for him there.
Schedule's filling up on that one.
Yeah, very much so.
Very much so.
You're like the man of the hour there. I love it. As Javi mentioned, he's got UTECH in Mexico City coming up. That's in May. We've got Chemicals America in Charleston. That's in June. We have a booth there. So we're looking forward to setting up meetings and, having everyone pop by and filling the schedule up there. I think we've already started to reach out and schedule some meetings, even though it's a couple months away, but you can't be.
But by we, you mean just yourself.
Yeah, it might be me.
Way ahead of the game, which is great.
But
great
you know
to
what?
see.
Hey, why not, right?
She's a planner.
I'm a planner, so.
Her suitcase is already packed for that show in June.
Hey, you know what? Boom, grab it and go. We've got the Middle Eastern Coating Show that is also in June in Dubai that Javier will be attending once again.
That's the first time at that one? Have we been before?
No, I've never been to the Middle Eastern Coating Show. That'll be the first time.
So, that'll be a nice one to hear feedback on as well.
Yeah.
And, kind of see. I'm sure everyone will be excited to have your presence there.
Yeah, looking for a new contact. So we'll see what comes out of.
Definitely.
You got to fill up that WhatsApp.
Yes, gotta get a new contacts for my WhatsApp.
I love it. Then in July, we've got the Southwestern Fertilizer Conference down in Nashville. We have AJ Petrarca and Corey Mullins who will be attending that. So we'll be happy to set up meetings and fill their schedule up to the fullest of their extent. And
they try to pick just the hottest places to go to July for that show. Huh?
Right. Yeah, well, I guess Nashville's better than San Antonio in July.
Yeah.
So it's still going to be pretty hot, though.
Just trying to show the importance of good fertilizer. When it gets that hot, you got to make sure your lawn's nice and full of nutrients.
There is a marketing strategy there.
Yeah. If not, I just created it. So.
Yeah, exactly. And then we are also going to be attending the ICAST in Orlando in mid-July as well. I believe AJ and Ben will be there. So, that's a new one for us.
One we're thinking about.
What is ICAST?
It's the big fishing trade show.
Oh, okay.
You want to come to that too?
I do. I don't know about mid-July. I will be fishing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I want to fly to Orlando in middle of July to go to a show, but
it's an odd time to have the fishing trade show in the middle of July. You think they'd do it in like January or something.
Yeah, January.
I think I might need you for crew then. I don't know if AJ will be going. So.
Well, you know what? I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll reevaluate if they get feedback and put it towards the.
It's another one mid-July in Florida. I mean,
that is.
In middle Florida. It's not like,
They get a good deal on that venue.
Yeah, exactly. So some awesome stuff coming up in the pipeline. We're excited to fill up the trade show and conference schedule, and by all means reach out for meetings. We're looking forward to seeing everyone down there.
And obviously not an official event, but we're looking forward to putting on our internal sales meeting again this summer. See everyone back in person.
Yeah, coming in June. It's the first time we'll all be together
since 2019.
Jeez, yeah.
June 2019. Can you believe
that's
it?
a long time, So it'll be great to get everybody together, and we got technical presentations up the wazoo. So we got a lot to catch up on.
Yep, we're looking forward to that too. It's going to be an awesome event. So yeah,
beautiful. So wrapping things up, I know we talked about the puppies a little bit earlier. So
They're always fun to talk about.
Exciting times around the offices with the dogs. We've also had some good content coming out recently, especially on the podcast. We had our regulatory episode we also just recorded, which may or may not be released by the time this episode comes out, but it is coming here soon. We did a 3-part series with one of our best and longest standing producing partners, Avonic, talking about plasticizers and phthalates. So a lot of interesting info on there. Something that gets thrown out a lot. There's a lot of myths and misinformation and things that are maybe misconstrued surrounding certain plasticizers and especially phthalates. So excited for that one to come out. There was a lot of real good info that came out of that one. Should be
I'm excited about that one.
Very much so. But yeah, wrapping things up. Anything else we're missing?
I think that's about it.
We covered a lot.
A lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate your time. Good talking to you guys all this morning. As always, thanks for listening. There'll be a bunch of show notes and links to some of the things we talked about here in this episode down if you scroll down wherever you're streaming this, whether you're on the video version or the audio version. So as always, we thank you for listening, and we'll see you in May.
See you in May.
Fantastic.
Good.
Thank you.
Guys. Thank you for streaming the View from Jamestown podcast edition.
Like and subscribe for more.